in federal court in Lower Manhattan. It's below the 10 years the prosecution sought, but more than double what the defense wanted.
Questioning me, but angry at each other, like who said the worst thing about Jen.
Okay, no problem. So go hang out with weird-ass Mary Cosby that murdered grandfather.
The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City figure Jen Shah dined and drank with a group of 20 people at Italian hotspot Valbella at the park in Midtown after learning her fate in federal court later that night, Friday morning. She apologizes to her family and victims before being sentenced to jail wearing a camel coat with a leopard-print pussy bow top. How did they celebrate the party? What happened following Jen Shah's apology? Want more of the juiciest rumors about your favorite stars? For all types of celebrity news and pop culture, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications for Celebrity Pop. According to Page 6's exclusive report, Jen Shah threw a Shah-mazing dinner party in New York City to commemorate the fact that her jail term for wire fraud was far less than she had anticipated. The star of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City found her fate in federal court on Friday morning. Later that day, she went out to eat and drink with 20 people at the famous Italian restaurant Valbella at the park in Midtown. The convicted con artist and her crew are said to have spent the night eating and drinking on the second floor of the place, according to Page 6. An insider divulged the following information. She had two persons standing around her table prohibiting anybody from snapping shots. It's unknown if her spouse, Shah, or any of her co-stars were there with her at the time. In response to Page 6's request for comment, a spokesman for Valbella said that the establishment does not disclose any information on its customers. Hours earlier, the mother of two, who faced up to 14 years in jail, was given a 6.5-year term in federal prison for allegedly orchestrating a statewide telemarketing scam that mainly preyed on the elderly. The Bravo celebrity apologized to the victims and her family after the hearing. Before being found guilty of fraud on Friday and sentenced to 78 months in jail, Jen Shah tearfully apologized to her family for the crimes she had committed. According to a report by an ABC reporter, Shah apologized to her husband Sharif and her sons Sharif Jr. and Omar in a New York courtroom. "I'm genuinely sorry," Shah stated in front of her husband and boys. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City actress also apologized directly to her younger son Omar for being there while federal agents were detaining her in March 2021. According to the Inner City Press, Shah remarked, "To my baby Omar, Mommy is very sorry that you were awakened at gunpoint." The Bravo celebrity ended her tearful speech by apologizing to her late father, for whom she expressed her grief during Season 1 of the popular Bravo program, and said how humble she is by the love that her father showed her. Shah reportedly seized the opportunity to apologize to the thousands of individuals, many of whom were senior citizens, who lost money to her in a telemarketing operation she ran. "I beg your pardon. People who were not responsible for my conduct have been harmed," she's quoted as stating, "I want to apologize by saying I'm doing everything that I can to earn the money to make reparations." She has stated that in carrying out her plan, she acted contrary to her fundamental principles of humility, loyalty, and respect. "You and the rest of the world know me as Jen Shah, but reality TV has nothing to do with reality. Even my catchphrase, Shah-mazing, was written by someone else." According to Inner City Press, Shah began to weep as she remarked, "I want to talk about who I am." Priya Chaudhry, a counsel for Shah, and Robert Sobelman, an assistant United States attorney, made remarks before United States District Judge Sidney Stein handed down his sentence. She feels guilty about the mistakes she's committed in the past. She offers her apologies. She had confidence in the way we handled legal matters. Jen will pay her obligation to society, Chaudhry predicted, while Sobelman said every cooperator informed us Jen Shah's the boss. Shortly after Shah was sentenced, Chaudhry sent a statement to Page 6 reaffirming her remarks. The statement said, "Shah is very sorry to the individuals she has offended. Jen has confidence in our judicial system, is aware that anybody who breaches the law will be punished, and acknowledges that this punishment is reasonable. Jen will pay her duty to society, and when she's a free woman once again, she swears to pay her obligation to the people wounded by the errors she made in the past." After adamantly maintaining her innocence until July, she altered her plea to guilty only days before she was supposed to go to trial. She was taken into custody on March 30th, 2021, when Bravo cameras were there. On February 17th, 2023, Shah will report for her first day of her jail term. The star of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City wore a camel-colored coat with a matching monochrome leopard-print pussy bow top as she went for her sentence on Friday during her fraud trial. Shah, convicted to 6.5 years in jail for wire fraud, also carried a Gucci leopard-print clutch for the occasion. This came less than 1 month after it was revealed that federal authorities had confiscated more than 50 counterfeit handbags and jewelry from the reality actress's home in Utah. Even though she was not invited to any official events associated with BravoCon, she once carried the same bag when attending after-parties for the convention. It would seem that Shah is a fan of the Italian fashion business, as she wore a red Gucci purse with a price tag of more than $2,000 and a Gucci logo belt with pearl accents when she went to the courts in July of 2022. According to the paperwork that Page 6 was able to get, some of the products included purses that were tagged Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Fendi, Jimmy Choo, and Gucci. However, neither the red purse nor the leopard clutch was mentioned among the knockoffs. The Bravo-celebrity was taken into custody in March 2021 after an investigation into allegations that she defrauded hundreds of people via a telemarketing operation led to a search warrant being issued for her residence. However, when Shah pled guilty in July and agreed to pay the $9.5 million in restitution she owes, the inventory list, which contained both fake and genuine designer products, was made public in order to assist Shah in making the necessary payments. During the court for her guilty plea, Shah confessed that she had intentionally provided fraudulent services. From 2012 to March 2021, in the Southern District of New York and other locations, I conspired with other individuals to conduct wire fraud, Shah stated. I did this by intentionally offering client identities to others promoting business services with very little value or perhaps none. In the sentence that was taking place at the time, her husband, Sharif Shah Sr., appealed to the court to have mercy on them. Following Jen Shah's pleas to fraud back in July, Heather Gay experienced various emotions. Wednesday night on the Season 3 finale of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Gay claimed she was overwhelmed with sadness after hearing the news. Gay expressed her sorrow to fellow housewife Lisa Barlow following her trip to New York City. Grief that we are in this position, that there are victims, our buddy is going away for a decade. The thought of Shah's family, according to Barlow, causes her to bawl my eyes out. All I could think of was her saying, "I'm not going to watch Reefy, Jen's son Sharif Jr., get married," while she was driving the van. Brandi Glanville is of the impression that Jen Shah was given a lighter term than she deserved for the crime she committed. However, according to Glanville, Shah was able to escape relatively unscathed. "Today's my grandma's birthday," I said. "Grandma Hazel is 95 years old today. No, this is not fair at all. She has to serve more time," the reality star, who is now 50 years old, told presenter Andy Cohen. After Cohen explained if Glanville brought up her grandmother because older people were taken advantage of in the plan, the mother of two said yeah, she should do more time. Glanville continued by saying that she definitely thinks that Shah's husband, Sharif Coach Shah, was aware of what his wife was doing the whole time. She continued by saying, "Once an attorney, always an attorney," about Sharif's previous work experience in the legal industry. "What she pleaded guilty to is so heinous," Gay went on, "and the fact that she's gone so far and claimed her innocence for this long, and now I can only imagine she did it and thought she was going to get away with it, and when she realized she wasn't going to get away with it, her narrative changed. It was the last thing I anticipated for her to plead guilty," Gay said. Gay, on the other hand, remained faithful to Shah when she was caught on video in March 2021. So when the now-convicted fraudster altered her plea from not guilty to guilty at the last minute, she speculated why. "I believe Coach, Jen's husband Sharif Sr., saw what Jen was doing and that it was hard to explain," Gay said. "There was something they couldn't get out of with all the testimonies and all the witnesses. And that was a smoking gun that indicated, okay, the jig is up," she concluded. "You must step in there, admit to doing these things, and spend a decade in jail." While it's unclear if Jen's husband was involved in her choice to come clean, he did submit a letter to the court requesting compassion in her punishment. Sharif Shah said his wife felt regret for her acts and even blamed himself for not being there enough. Jen got just half the maximum punishment for her crimes, which the couple enjoyed with a sumptuous dinner in New York City the next day. The celebrations, however, will be brief, since Jen is set to surrender on February 17th. Can you guess what is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and for all types of celebrity news and pop culture, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications for Celebrity Pop.